Hey everybody, I am at Acadia National Park in Maine. I've never been here before. It's incredible. It's also very busy. And I think it's the 7th most popular national park in our country. And I just kind of want to talk a little bit about government public lands and like national parks for a minute, because they seem to be under attack again by our federal government. And I want to tell a story about Michigan. So I used to have friends that owned a cottage in Michigan, close to like Saugatuck in Holland. And they have the big red lighthouse there. And we got to like enter a code and go to like a private neighborhood. And we had a private beach. Now our cottage was small, but around us was like $1 million mansions and stuff. And so we had access to a legit private beach that you had to own land on to get to have access to on Lake Michigan. And then you would see the big red lighthouse, and then on the other side was the public beach, where it was just like 100 people to one on the private beach, and maybe more. And some uber wealthy multimillionaire person who inherited his wealth from his family built this giant mansion where that lighthouse is. And he somehow was able to change the law so that the public beach could only be used, I think it was 3 times a week. And so I would go one year, everybody could come to the public beach every day. And then I came the next summer and you couldn't. You could only come 2 or 3 days a week because of this rich guy. And I'm just like, isn't that disgusting? Everybody should have access to public things. And that's kind of what I love Michigan and it's beautiful, but I just like the wealth gap is annoying. And I felt, really lucky and amazing that I got to be on the private beach, but it just doesn't seem fair. And it's like, amazing places like this should be for the public, for all of us to enjoy, not just the super wealthy to buy up and get to use for their own. And if you're supporting that, you're supporting the loss of national parks, the loss of public land where we can hike. I don't know what your reasonings are. You probably don't realize it's happening. I don't know. Feel free to put it in the comments. I've gotten some hate comments on YouTube lately. So feel free to let me know, why do you think it's great for the uber wealthy to get to snatch up our public goods? I think it's a good use of taxpayer money to fund this stuff. My family of 5 paid, I think, $35 to come here. Seems worth it to me, and that money goes to help take care of the park, but then some of our taxpayer money goes to run it. I'm okay with that. And I just think of how many people get mental health help being in a beautiful location like this. Think about people having a rough time in their lives. Maybe they've lost somebody they loved, and they can come to a place like this and, get some serenity. It's just so important. And I just wanted to, we're going to have to fight for it, I think. We're going to have to fight for the things that are important to us. And I think this should be one of them. We should fight for our public lands.